be a writer and hate reading?
No.
Okay, there we go. Next question. Okay.
You have to breathe in and breathe out. You have to take in the medium that you're in love with, and you have to put out the medium you're in love with. I don't think anybody who doesn't read novels can write a novel. It doesn't make sense. It would be like a chef hating to eat, but he cooks. I don't know.
Well, I have seen singers and songwriters, musicians that are not very interested in other musicians in terms of they don't really like their music or they don't want to listen to it.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's a music thing, but so with reading though, it's different in writing. You have to.
Yeah, and the thing about musicians I found, because I used to cover music for journalism, was there is almost they're speaking a language that is so different because they're speaking like a universal language. You can play music for someone across the globe who has no idea of an instrumental track, and we can both feel the same emotion from it. But it's almost like talking to mathematicians sometimes, where they're just really in their head for their compositions, and it's the genius is almost like a savant sometimes, and so I feel like music can really get away with that a lot. I really wish I was musically inclined, because even the guys that I used to interview, like doom metal bands, and those guys are like just the hardest to talk to. It's like it'd be easier to talk to an engineer at Apple, but they're so technical about every single aspect of it, and that part's like so sexy too. But if I go see them live, I'll just have a hit on someone's joint and just sit there and bask in the drones.
Have you talked to any other authors who hate reading?
No, I don't think I would ever talk to them again if they said that. I think that would be the end of every conversation. I hate reading. Want to read my book? No, I don't even want to know who you are.
How often do you read?
Every day.
Every day. So you make it. Is it sort of part of your daily practice?
Yeah. It's like washing the dishes after cooking dinner. I'm reading every day. Yeah.
And do you have a specific time or no? Just whenever?
I read throughout the day, so usually not, but I do enjoy reading in bed as well. And sometimes that hurts my sleep patterns because I want to stay up and keep reading. But yeah, my bed has about 4 or 5 books that are just like splayed on it, and I have my current book, and I have my pen next to me, and I also have paper if I want to annotate something down, because a lot of the books I get from the library, because if I put any more books into my house my apartment is just going to explode. So I have to rely on library books and continue to get rid of books that I'm not going to read again.
Right, I think you said that on one of your Drinks with Tony interviews, where you had traveled to France or something, and then you're like, I love being here. And then you're like, oh, I miss my books.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the comfort. It's the comfort of having the books is like, all I need is everything could go out. We can have power outage, and I got my candles and my books, and I can have a great night. It's nice having that option. And I guess after COVID, now I'm in apocalyptic mode, right? Because everything can change in a second. And they just go, well, all streaming's gone. This is gone. We're down to this. And your bread supply is going to be dropped off, and you can't leave your house. And I'll be like, well, that's a shame. I guess I'll pull out Moby Dick and light a candle.
Do you think that you like being surrounded by books because they're little pieces of you and you feel like this is home, this is me?
Well, some of them really are, because like some I've had for like 30 years. Some I have traveled with me to other places and still have old phone numbers of places where I was going to crash, and directions. And so those I never want out of my life. At the same time, I've lost other important things, and I didn't die. So those can leave too at some point. But I mean, if I had a house that had if I had the means to have a nice big house, the first room would be a library, and that would be the most important room to me. And then, oh yeah, there's the kitchen and the living area, and then one of those little ladders too that goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Oh, it's my life dream.
Yeah, I've always wanted to the bookshelf that turns around.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and it's like another room or something. But
Yeah.
do you have to be careful with what you're reading while you're writing?
No, not so much. I know some people. Well, maybe I have a little bit sometimes if it's really close. Maybe I'll stop if it's really close to what I go, oh wow, that's because there's a lot of books that are close to what I write. So if it's too close, I'll probably stop. But I'm never careful. I'm always taking in as much as possible, and I don't. There are some writers that have said that, oh yeah, I don't read novels and I'm writing a novel because I don't want to be influenced. And I'm like, you're already influenced. We're all influenced. Just keep getting influenced. But the reason we can put stuff on paper is because we've been influenced for the years that we've been on Earth. So you're also being influenced by stories left and right. Read the medium that you're writing in. Yeah.
We've heard that a writer can waste years learning writing lessons that could have been absorbed by just reading one novel. Do any books come to mind where that novel taught you more about writing than maybe taking a class?
Oh, you're talking about learning about writing through reading novels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if push came to shove and you could not read a how-to book, you can only read novels, that would be fine. You should. There's so many how-to books out there that I urge people to not get bogged down on how-to books. There's a few good ones, but then just put them aside and read and just embrace and enjoy. A novel that comes to mind, I'm not sure. I mean, the novels that have influenced me have been over the years. I mean, recently, The Count of Monte Cristo, Les Miserables, where I'm just like, I'm reading it and my empathy is just, but I guess I'm really getting excited about learning about old-timey stuff these days and just being immersed in that world. And also, they all have the same problems as us, which that's what I love about classic literature. It's just like, oh, it's the same. Nothing changes. We're all human. We all just want to survive. We want to have our needs met, and then we want to, fall in love would be nice, but a nice house would be okay. But hey, we gotta just put along, and especially with Victor Hugo, he did a lot of, even in The Count of Monte Cristo, was a lot of morality in there. There was consequences, even though our hero did certain things, especially in The Count, where he was taking revenge on people who harmed him in the kind of the worst way possible that you can harm a person who kind of loses everything, and then he comes out to take revenge. And even in the end of that book, he realizes that it may not have been worth it. But he's also a changed person and doesn't, I won't give anyway too many spoilers away for those of you who want to read it. But it's, I love that it opens the question there of morality at the end. What else? I mean, the book I'm reading now, the Kevin Barry book, there's great stuff out there that we read, and I'm reading it and going, oh man, I wish I could write this. He's an Irish writer writing about 1800s Wild West in America. At the same time, there's Irish characters that have just come from Ireland and mixed with Swedes and all this stuff along this journey, which is a love story in the end. It's fun.
And with The Count of Monte Cristo, that was, of course, a book that you'd heard of for years and years,
yeah.
But a gentleman reading it at a sidewalk cafe or something?
Yeah, I walked up to a guy who had a huge book, and I was like, what is that? And he just was like, first he sized me up like, and then he's like, oh, he seems like he's tame. And then he showed it to me, and I was like, and how do you like it? And he told me how he liked it. And I went, all right, I don't think it's for me, but I'll get it. And I got it, and it was wonderful. Yeah, I mean, even reading Shakespeare plays, I've never read a Shakespeare play until the last few years, and I read Hamlet, and it's just, and in some of these books, like even with, I'm reading Proust right now, In Search of Lost Time. I'm on volume 5, but not to brag, it's just a bad idea to read Proust. What I've learned about reading In Search of Lost Time is, maybe read Swan's Way and the second volume, and then I think just go straight to the last volume. He goes on, but there's a beauty of seeing early 1900s Paris culture, even though it's high culture, and I guess that's probably why I don't, I'm a working class literature guy for the most part, so even people who come out of, are on bestseller lists, and I find out they're from like, oh yeah, I'm from New England and I graduated from Harvard. When I read their books, I'm like, oh, or I don't know, this might not apply to her, but like Donna Tartt, everyone just loves Donna Tartt, but when I try to read her, it's just, I don't get it. And then I kind of looked at her history, and I'm like, oh, okay, we just come from different places. It's neither here nor there. It's just I don't get certain things, but yeah, so with Proust, I'm not getting it because he's so high society with what he's doing in Paris. But it is fascinating, and I may like Proust because he's showing me a part of France that I can never experience, and over 100 years ago that I can never understand. And also the gossip that they talk about then, political gossip, is kind of same as now. Nothing's changing, so.
Do you think that that's interesting that someone's social class, or maybe even just what they were brought up in and that's their mindset, that they have trouble reading someone of another social class? Doesn't matter where they are in the strata, sort of.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I question myself on that too. It's like even reading classics from English, I have a hard time reading Brits. I can read the Scottish writers and Irish writers. I get into it. When I'm reading a British author, it's a struggle for me, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's how they turn a phrase or what, but I can read Irvin Welsh with his phonetic Scottish and be totally immersed in his novel. So
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you think most writers write for sort of a middle class, higher class, or are there a lot of working class writers?
I hope writers don't write for anybody. We should be writing for ourselves, and then the audience shows up. So there's authors that come from certain classes, but I don't. It's, in the end, we write what we want to read. We write what gets us excited and gets us up in the morning. So we'll read the pages we read yesterday and go, okay, cool. Hey, but there's a lot of people out there that are very wealthy whose books I love. So it's probably not a class thing. It's probably just sometimes I don't understand. On some level that I just don't get it. But I grew up in such a weird environment too, where it could be that. I've navigated these waters in a different way. So, I mean, I couldn't go to college. I didn't really start reading until I was in my mid-20s, and didn't start writing till I was about 29, 30. So,
just lastly, and this is sort of off topic, but having not gone to college, do you miss seeing sort of the college, yeah. I feel weird saying this. You don't have to answer it. Is there a part of you that wishes you'd had the college experience?
Yeah, there is. When I was in my 30s, I felt like I had really lost out. And then as I get older and people find out that I I did radio. I did college radio, so I took a couple classes at a community college. I took classes here and there, and I took a writing workshop at not UCLA, at UC Berkeley Extension, and that was, so I did take a writing workshop, and that's kind of as far as it went. I would take workshops here and there, and I still take classes. I'm going to be taking a drawing class in fall, so I love taking workshops here and there. But as for the college experience, I always felt like I missed out. And then at the same time, now at this point in my life, it's kind of part of the story where it's just like, oh wait, you've done what? And you don't even have an associate's degree. And I'm like, no. And look, I barely got out of high school. I wish I could have had that experience. At the same time, it would have been a great, different experience than what I did have to do in those years of my life. I would have rather had that turmoil than the turmoil I had. At the same time, I guess life's a journey and we all have turmoil, so I guess we write books about it.
Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Here is a complimentary question from our book story questions.